Hello dear friends, I summarize this news with the utmost respect for all beliefs and as a tribute to the Master before the upcoming Holy Week. Opinion piece: Face of Christ according to AI. Dividing opinions based on the Shroud. Trump cancels tariffs, except China tariffs. Gold and silver soar. It causes markets to rise. A spiral of financial volatility. Let's start. A video created using artificial intelligence has gone viral on social media, which users describe as the true face of the Nazarene. In the images, Jesus can be seen blinking, smiling, and praying. He also has blood marks on his face and body associated with wounds from the crown of thorns. It was created using an image based on the Shroud, a relic believed to have wrapped Christ's body after the crucifixion. This video is another example of the use of artificial intelligence to explore historical and religious questions. However, it also highlights how these technologies can reflect cultural biases or perpetuate traditional images without a solid historical basis. In the video, Jesus appears with long hair, a beard, and features similar to traditional depictions. However, it includes details such as cuts and bruises reminiscent of the crucifixion. The depiction was generated using advanced artificial intelligence tools such as Midjourney and was based on an image published in 2024 by the Daily Express. This image used the Shroud of Turin as a reference, which some believe was used to wrap the body of Jesus after his crucifixion. Opinions are divided. The new video has revived controversy among the social media users. Some praise the technology for offering a realistic depiction, while others criticize it for perpetuating a white image influenced by traditional Western representations. Some internet users reinforced their idea of the typical perception of Jesus with long blonde hair, pale skin, and a placid facial expression, while others denounced that the artificial intelligence made Jesus Christ resemble the images it was trained on, that is, general representations in plural, showing him as white, tall, blonde, and beard, and indicated that Jesus was Jewish and probably a man of color. Many point out that Jesus likely had dark skin and features typical of a first-century Middle Eastern Jewish man. The Shroud of Turin has been a recurring source for attempts to recreate Jesus' face, although recent studies suggest it could date back 2,000 years. There is no consensus on whether it actually wrapped his body. Furthermore, biblical descriptions do not offer specific details of Jesus, which has allowed for varied interpretations influenced by cultural context. Speculation about the face of Jesus of Nazareth has been the subject of debate for centuries. Influenced by faith, art, and more recently, science. In short, the face of Jesus has been shaped by different eras and culture, from artistic idealizations to scientific reconstructions based on historical and forensic data. In the Roman catacombs, Jesus was depicted as beardless, Hellenized youth. During the Byzantine era, his image evolved into a man with a beard and long hair. In the Renaissance, painters such as Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo idolized Jesus according to European standards of beauty. British forensic scientist Richard Neve used 1st century Jewish skulls to create an image of Jesus with dark skin, short hair, and pronounced Semitic features. His work challenged traditional Western representations. On the other hand, using digital technology, Cicero Moraes recreated a face based on climatic conditions and the typical physiognomy of desert dwellers. According to him, Jesus would have had dark skin and short hair. The Shroud of Turin is one of the most studied objects in the research for the face of Jesus. Although its authenticity is debated, some studies suggest it could be compatible with the time of Christ. This cloth shows a man with wounds consistent with crucifixion, but detractors consider it a medieval artifact. Historians such as Joan Taylor suggest that Jesus, as a 1st century Jew, probably had dark skin, short, curly hair, and an average height of 1.64 meters. The Gospels do not offer detailed physical descriptions, leaving their appearance open to speculation. Tariffs. President Trump has suspended tariffs on all countries except China, causing global markets to rise while gold and silver prices have soared, according to Mike Adams, who predict that this trade war with China will last a long time and cause economic problems. Tariffs on China have been raised another 20% to 145% due to its inaction on fentanyl trafficking, but Trump is confident of reaching a beneficial agreement. This strategy is singling out China is resulting in a massive tariff on products manufactured in that country, which could wreak havoc on the retail sector due to supply chain disruptions. This includes food products, consumer goods, computers, telecommunications, auto parts, household goods, and just about everything else unimaginable. Fox Business financial journalist Charles Gasparino claims the White House backed down on its ambitious tariff plan due to strong pressure from the bond market. Reactions. Wall Street falls again due to the trade war. The market has entered a spiral of volatility. The growing tariff dispute between China and the US is once again impacting the stock market. Trump signs his first cryptocurrency law. Oil prices plummet. A major clash between China and the US is feared. The United Arab Emirates is preparing to produce more oil. Iran will propose a provisional arrangement to the US to buy time. A group of hackers is planning a hellish month of attacks against Elon Musk. Fulford summary. Russian sources say a peace deal in Ukraine is not possible now because the Trump administration is unwilling to accuse Zelensky of war crimes. Idaho is preparing to carry out executions of pedophiles. Christine Lagarde convicted for her role in a $400 million payment to a businessman. Senior advisors have ordered King Charles III to abdicate immediately as he battles an aggressive form of cancer. The resignation of Klaus Schwab and others demonstrates the decadence of the official narrative. All this is expected to be a prelude to an agreement with the Dragon family and Yabeli. Meanwhile, the dark side continues trying to start the Third World Party. The European Union wants to plunder private savings to buy weapons. Germany is increasing its military power and preparing for a confrontation. Tons of military equipment are passing through Romania toward Ukraine. Serbia and Hungary are working to establish a comprehensive military alliance. That is, Hungary, a NATO member, is forging an alliance with Serbia, Russia's ally. This means the Austro-Hungarian Empire has returned and is forging an alliance with Russia against Western Europe. Furthermore, Finland is preparing to reopen its border with Russia. The US will not fight Russia to protect the European Union, according to French journalist Thierry Meyssan. Over the past month, the G7 meetings have been held without the US. Manfred Weber, leader of the European People's Party, said, "We live in a new order." The trials against populist leaders demonstrate Europe's false democracy. Every citizen has the right to vote for whomever they want, not for whomever they are ordered to. The European Commission paid millions to environmental groups to defame political opponents and dissident voices. Pentagon sources claim that Trump doesn't want a war against Iran, but is willing to flex his muscles to force it to negotiate. The Emirates, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq, and Bahrain will not allow the US to use their air bases to attack Iran. Elon Musk bought a large amount of lithium from Iran for his cars. The African Development Foundation, located near the White House, prevented those agents from entering its facilities, which were guarded by its own police. The Chinese are also counterattacking by imposing restrictions on the export of rare earths. We hope President Trump is putting on all this show to prepare an agreement with China and the rest of the world. Several sources claim that much could be decided between now and June. The Dragon family and the entire world are ready to help. They just have to pick up the phone. Europe. The European Union freezes its tariffs on the US for 90 days in an attempt to negotiate. Von der Leyen offers a zero mutual tariff agreement with the US. European markets see relief from the tariff interruption and rise by nearly 6%. Europe fears becoming the port where thousands of Chinese ships brimming with cheap merchandising will run aground. Brussels is preparing to stem a flood of Chinese goods at rock-bottom prices. For European consumers, this would be a boon for their wallets. London considers deploying troops in Ukraine for 5 years. Only 6 countries want to deploy troops in Ukraine. Europe seeks to derail peace negotiations between Russia and the US. Kiev sentences a cosmonaut who just arrived at the International Space Station to 15 years in prison. Spain. Traffic begins Easter operation, during which it expects 15.8 million trips. The IBEX 35 rises 4.3%, its best session in 3 years, due to the tariff pause. The IMF improves its forecast for Spain to 2.5%, but warns of political and fiscal risks. The impact of tariffs leads the Bank of Spain to downgrade growth. Rental collapse in Catalonia. 58% of the apartment supply disappears, and prices rise by 5.5%. Home purchases by foreigners grew by 10.3%. The British continued to lead the way, with Russians seeing the largest decline. Navantia strengthens its leadership with contracts in Thailand and with Royal Caribbean. 5 Spaniards die after their helicopter crashes into New York's Hudson River. Americas. Trump won't rule out tariffs against Mexico until it pays for the water it owes Texas. The Jalisco New Generation cartel went from being a tiny group to dominating crime. The US declares thousands of migrants dead to force them to self-deport. Argentina expects $20 million after its agreement with the IMF. Ecuador will decide its future in a runoff between Daniel Noboa and Luisa González. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.